Big Global Wrestling Podcast. We're back with another special edition of the Big Global Podcast. Storylines have not made sense. Time WrestleMania takes the best told story leading into this WWE this pay-per-view. It feels big, it feels important, but ultimately it's the biggest thing that stood out for me when I seen it. I was like, okay, this has to be a joke.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are back for another special edition of the Big Global Wrestling Podcast. Tonight, I called up the boys and I said, hey, we got to do this live. Not because it's a special topic or anything tonight, but because I'm just looking and reaching for better ways to interact with the fans. So this is Two Chains here, and you're not able to see me, but I hope you can hear me. But I'm here with a brother, Mr. Marta Silly Sellis here. What's going on?
Rocking the Believeland hat. Shout out to my Indians for winning the pennant, the 6 AL pennant. Hopefully this time we'll win the whole World Series. This is our first time since 1997.
I mean, even I'm a hater because I don't believe he's a legit fan, but he says he is. So okay, we'll let him. It's mysterious that Cleveland Indian fans are all of a sudden coming about now that the Cavaliers won the NBA championship. So now, I guess next thing you know, Browns fans are going to come out the woodworks for next year, right?
Oh, they're always there. The Brownies are always there. But once again, I'm only an Indians fan. I do not represent anything Cleveland. I only love the Indians. Kenny Lofton was a huge fan for me when I grew up. And it's always been about all my favorite sports teams who I love as players: Jerry Rice, Penny Hardaway. So I can just go. The list can goes on. I actually had to shout out to that on my Facebook page to let everybody know, hey, I am not a bandwagon at all.
I gotta say, to be a baseball fan, it's really hard at times because your favorite player could end up on any team. Now, granted, I'm a Cardinals fan, and I definitely was a fan of Albert Pujols, but we see how that went. But
yeah, exactly.
I'm just more or less of a fan of the organization and how they create teams and how they draft and all that. So, still a Cardinals fan. I'm a big I'm a Nationals fan as well, hometown team. But other than that, I'm sorry. I'm Charlotte, North Carolina out.
Hey, look, that hat has to go. I'm sorry, it has to go. Like,
why are you hating on the hat? I think the fans love the hat. You can retweet Indians and retweet Tribe, whatever you want to retweet on the hashtag Rock the Indians.
Before the Nats came in town, I used to be a Dodgers fan. I mean,
what?
I liked Mike Piazza, man.
Okay.
All right, Kenny Lofton, Mike Piazza, same era. Can we get respect from my Tribe? I mean, they did their thing with 2 starting pitchers when everybody else is hurt.
And then, then the Nats came in town. I was like, okay, well, let me invest some time in the Nats. I mean, I still like the Dodgers because I liked the Dodgers when they had Matt Kemp. Then it's just like, I didn't like the fact that it seemed like every year Clayton Kershaw just went to a slump in the postseason. It was just horrible.
Well, that's the voice of Mr. Dwayne himself. What's going on? I knew you would pop in, so that's usually how you.
Yeah, man. Unfortunately, the kid is still up, so it's just I don't know to sleep.
Gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, so we're here. We're gonna make this work. I think just generally speaking right now that we had a good week of wrestling, but as a kid that grew up in the 90s, not born in the 90s, this has been one good week with the return of Goldberg actually happening and it being every single thing we absolutely could have wanted it to be.
Oh, of course. I'm a big Goldberg fan, so I was happy. I felt like a little kid. I was just like, yes.
Yeah, like real man was on deck.
I come to realize that Goldberg is your headliner for the Hall of Fame in Orlando this year.
This probably be true.
That's interesting. I never even thought about that, but that's very interesting. The one thing I want to say about Goldberg is, how in the world did Goldberg come in and cut the best promo outside of The Miz and maybe Jericho? Cut the best promo I've seen on Raw in the last few months.
And I can tell you why. And I've said it multiple times. Famous professional wrestlers have said it way more than I have. When people get an opportunity to be themselves, that is when their truest or best promos even come out. Let's even think about Goldberg 2.0 Ryback. He had his best promo where he talked about his ankle injury and how he had to be set back and the hard work he had to get through. You could say that was the best promo he ever did because that was true to what he had to do. It was himself. He didn't have to make it up. He didn't have to remember it off the top. He was just flowing from what came to his heart because that's who he was. And even think about characters that are very successful. CM Punk, The Rock. All these performers are themselves just turned up to another notch when they're on a live performance. That's who they are. And that's the best performance that we get. Even like a Kevin Nash and Scott Hall is who they are. Triple H, he was much better as Hunter Hearst Helmsley, as he is now, than what he was when he first came out, being the little European English guy. When you're your best, you're at your best when you're truly who you are.
I think that's really hard to argue. I think that's true. But in the art of the business, though, you're supposed to be perfecting your craft. And I think people should definitely be able to compete with putting on a good performance as their character, especially if they're considering themselves actors, to some extent, should be able to put on a character and deliver it as genuine as it could be. I mean, granted, the New Day is absolutely their self, and they cut semi-good, promos to me, but nothing that really makes me get out my seat. Wow, that was good.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I said, even though it's kind of like being an actor, it's still a sense that you're 100% most genuine when you're just yourself, and when you're just yourself, it comes off as being more natural than anything. So that's why you see a lot of these times where these promos are great. They normally just being them. They're not being the character they're supposed to be. It's hard to be in character and really give it a good promo. It takes a certain skill. Not a lot of people have it, as you can see.
Very true.
Yeah, so I think it's safe to say that the best promos come from heels, but from Goldberg, from a face aspect, that was one heck of a promo.
And he said what he had to say. It's been a long time. I never thought I would be back here. But now that I'm back here, let me beat the best guy who thinks he is out here right now. And I beat him again. I beat him before. So let me try to beat him again.
I think the other steaming question that comes from this whole feud with them two is, when do we book this match? Like I said on the previous episode, I think it only makes sense that it's on its biggest platform, and I really, really want it to be stretched out all the way to WrestleMania. But from the promo that Goldberg cut, I almost wanted to see it that night,
Yeah, and I think like D. Wayne said, I think now Goldberg becomes your headliner at WrestleMania, and in order to be a headliner at WrestleMania, I think he won't wrestle and be a headliner for WrestleMania. So I think it will have to be at Survivor Series, and which Survivor Series may lead to him doing a special appearance for the Royal Rumble, and that may be it. Mm-hmm. And then the next thing that you'll see is Goldberg being promoted for the headline of being the class of 2017 Hall of Fame.
I see that happening. Honestly, I would love for this to stretch out.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I like to see the stretch out of WrestleMania because it makes sense. You're opening the WWE Hall of Fame this next year at WrestleMania weekend, so it's a perfect time to really have someone big to be your main event at WrestleMania. Now, either or. He can be the headline of the class. Why not make it a Goldberg weekend? It's going to. If you make it a Goldberg weekend,
my boy.
The parts of going live. Yes, we have live son in the edition.
My boy.
So yeah, just make it a Goldberg weekend at WrestleMania. But I won't be surprised if they do the Survivor Series. That's where it's heading now.
The money and the interest is there. I don't know if there was sprinkling interest with putting them on the game and then capitalized it with an appearance on Raw, but there's no question that the interest is there and that fans will totally be invested in a Goldberg match, a Goldberg probably Hall of Fame stint, and like you said, a Goldberg weekend. Could you imagine how they could book a match with him at WrestleMania? Considering what they did with Sting when they did the NWO versus DX thing, like considering that they went to the depths of that, what do you think like the possibilities of everything they could do with Goldberg?
That's a very good question. But here's the thing about that Sting versus Triple H match. They both had to do with factions. Goldberg never was part of a faction, and the only thing that Goldberg had was being undefeated. And of course, he's not undefeated anymore, but that's the only thing that you could bring in there. It's hard on a stage like that to relive that. You would hope they would bring back some WCW versus WWE maybe type of thing. But I mean, to me, honestly, when you did that with Triple H and Sting, that took out all the window. You had the match that never could happen when you had the original WCW people come over after the buyout. So I just don't think it would be the same.
I don't know. First of all, to think that he only had his undefeated streak, I don't totally agree with that. I think that his superhero mannerisms was the big thing about his character. His entrance,
which you alluded to.
His entrance is definitely one of the most spectacular entrances of all time.
Yep.
And I hate to say it, but the security guards that accompanies him with the entrance is also a big thing that people look forward to. WrestleMania is their biggest platform as far as entertainment because we get concerts and everything being elevated to the next extent. Goldberg entrance on a WrestleMania platform done the right way could be spectacular. And the WWE is all about selling merch. It only makes sense that it's in place for WrestleMania.
I mean, yeah.
But the other thing I want to say is too, it makes no sense for it to be in Survivor Series. None at all.
It's still one of your major 4 pay-per-views, though.
Here's my thing with Survivor Series. It's while we want to sit here and say it's a major 4 pay-per-view, it's starting not to be, and I hate to say it. It's just they haven't done enough for Survivor Series to make it really spectacular.
You're absolutely right.
So it's just like I would rather see it at WrestleMania because the interest, like I said, like 2 Chainz said, would be spectacular. Probably one of the best entrances we ever seen of all time. If they do it correctly, you can see all the security guards lined up. It might be 50 security guards to accompany him to WrestleMania. It would just be amazing. And plus the merch aspect of it. I mean, right now he has one shirt out, which is you pre-order until the first week in November. Trust me, on it.
Yep.
and I feel like it's money to be made. I mean, you could have your last shirt, or something of that type of nature.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So it's money to be made if you do this correctly. And I feel like it can be stretched out. I mean, the way it goes right now, if Brock Lesnar's going to be on next week, it's going to be a Survivor Series. And the thing is just like, okay, well, are you going to make another shirt before Survivor Series? Because if this is the only one you're going to make, then it kind of kills my feelings. Because I was hoping that after I heard his last phrase, your last, I could actually want a shirt like that.
Yep. But let's take this from a different angle now. Now, all 3 of us are obviously accustomed with Goldberg. What does the WWE need to do to get the fans accustomed to it? Now, granted, I don't want to hear nobody's response to the WWE Network because if that was the case, then everybody would have known who Finn Balor was. And his debut of the Demon was so subpar that you can tell that people was like, who is this? And once they finally got a look at what it was, they was like, I like it. But initially, it wasn't the big debut Is it okay? Put it this way: when Bobby Roode came to NXT, everybody knew it was no question, and then they elevated his character, and it seems like that. I don't think it has anything to do with the size. I think it just has particularly had to do with the molding of the show and the fans. So they're accustomed to people who don't have a really like distinct personality, and automatically put them on. Finn Balor character is universal. It's very distinct, and the fans on Raw had no clue who he was. So looking at Goldberg again, at somebody who's going to have a really mellow like type of appearance with this custom, traditional tights and knee pads and the bald head. I mean, who's to say he's really not Ryback repackaged?
Right.
What they got to do in order to sell this guy besides the video game and the network?
Okay, let me ask you a question too, James. As you were saying that, I was thinking of this. We're 80s babies. So when we first got introduced into wrestling, of course, when we're in the 80s, we're very young. We don't even know what 2 is compared to wrestling.
Yeah.
So when we got into wrestling in the early 90s, we would know who Macho Man was. We knew who Ric Flair was. We knew who Hulk Hogan was. Why did you think we knew who they were?
Our parents.
Okay. But,
yes,
but
and
okay.
big brothers and stuff. Yes.
Okay, big brothers and stuff. But at the same time, did they ever leave?
Well, but see, I do get it, and we got time to build with these characters, and also people like Macho Man. If you had no idea who he was in the first place, once he became part of something, you knew who he was, such as the NWO. Then you got a chance to understand who that character is. Goldberg doesn't have that much time, considering that people are saying this match is going to happen at Survivor Series. So my question is, if that's the case, if it's Survivor Series, what do they have to do in this meantime in order to make it work in this short period of time he had? Now, granted, if this match was going to be booked out a whole year from now, no problem. But I'm talking about like right now, what's going to happen?
Honestly, think of this at this point in time. It's only 2 things you can do. The first thing you do is kind of like a legend coming back, meaning it's going to be up to the people that actually watched him to let them know what's going on. What is Goldberg? Who is Goldberg? What he does? It's going to be up to the older crowd. That's one way you can do it because it's the short period of time. Another way you can do it is simple. When Brock Lesnar comes out next week, have Goldberg spear him, jackhammer him. Hey, right then and there.
That's my goal is definitely want to get some extensive Raw time. You want to maybe give you want to do maybe some appearances. I was going to say Talking Smack, but obviously that's SmackDown. But maybe just some guest show appearances on like the pre-shows and stuff like that. You definitely want to expose, like D. Wayne said, his finisher. You have to let people know that the spear and the jackhammer is his finisher. The spear is going to float fine because the spear is being used by the other superhero.
Right.
Yeah. So the spear is going to sit fine. And I think you're right as well too. I think it's going to be a responsibility of maybe some of the parents to get the kids accustomed to it.
Yep.
But the biggest thing that D. Wayne said earlier, but also I think makes relevant now, is that merch has to sell and it has to be trendy. So you're not only you're next, but your last has money written all over it in big, nice red letters that is going to sell. And then you give him, I think the confidence of his mic work that we just got, you give him some more mic time, it's only going to help him.
Totally understand that. And I respect everything that you guys said, and I agree with it all. My only gripe is he's been gone for so many years, that 12 years. That's a huge gap that fans are missing from wrestling. For example, think of somebody that's 30 years old who knew Goldberg. Think of somebody that may be 22 that may have just missed Goldberg. And think of somebody that's 12 that may not know Goldberg at all. But when we were kids, you had people who in the 40s, 30s, 20s, and the 10-year-olds all knew Hulk Hogan was, all who knew Macho Man was, because they were always there. They knew who Ric Flair was because they was always there. And when you have Goldberg saying, "Oh, this guy did this a while back ago, he could do it again," it's like watching a highlight reel because we don't relive it through that whole time. It won't be the same effect as like a Triple H, Rock, Stone Cold, who were always there throughout that time.
Okay.
P. Wayne, do you think your next is one of the most? Would you rate your next that phrase as being all time one of the best phrases in wrestling history?
Oh, of course, definitely.
Do you think that caters to obviously towards merch sale, but do you think that also caters towards kids as well?
I think that caters towards kids. I think his last one is your next, your last. If they can combine those two, I think that will sell like bananas. I mean, like I think it'll be sold out within a few days.
Oh, I agree. I agree with that for sure.
So it's money to be made. It's money to be made, and in this shorter period of time, I feel like you're not capitalizing on the money that could be made.
Explain.
Meaning, like it's so much stuff so much dynamics you can do with this. And the thing is, you don't have to have this match right now.
Mm-hmm.
You can save it for WrestleMania. Since, like I said, this WrestleMania, you're opening the WWE Hall of Fame, which is on Universal City Walk. That's a big achievement for WWE. So why not have that type of big match feel at WrestleMania instead of Survivor Series? Now, granted, we all know you're trying to hype Survivor Series in a way, but here's the kicker. If you do that at WrestleMania, if you take this match, put it at WrestleMania, because unless you want to highlight the talent you already have at WrestleMania, which is not a bad idea, but it's not going to give you that big match type of feel as Goldberg and Brock Lesnar. Survivor Series can be used as something to hype that talent that you have right now, going on forward towards that Royal Rumble WrestleMania season. And I think from a marketing and money standpoint, it's approximately a month till Survivor Series. You're gonna have to have a quick build up. And like I said, you only have one shirt for Goldberg, and I feel like if you have 5 shirts for Goldberg, you're capitalizing on so much money right there. It's going to be horrible.
I can say from my infatuation over Sting that it was good to have a number of shirts from him,
right?
In the WWE Superstore in Dallas, and I think that's the way to go. From what Dwayne is saying, is that you want to keep him relevant, because hold on. If he does this one match at Survivor Series and he's saying that's it, and maybe that is all he can do, I don't see no relevance of his merch being sold in the money-making month of April. So I don't know. Obviously, it's a business. Everything's always about money. And to have a hot ticket as Goldberg, you stretch this out. And I think, go ahead.
Oh yeah, just to add to that. As well as to make his merch happen, one thing that you even mentioned earlier, 2 Chainz, that he even mentioned in his promo, is being a superhero. In my opinion, if you want to bring him back, he has to lose his first match. Because if you want to make sure that you build that superhero reign in Goldberg and being a superhero for the kids, a superhero always needs to get knocked down, persevere his way to get back. Bring him at Survivor Series, he loses. I'm entering the Royal Rumble, boom, I'm in. He may not win the Royal Rumble, but that may be the get back of rematches to try to finish him at WrestleMania if you want to book it that way. That way, as Dwayne says, you have your 4 to 5 months of stretching out the storyline, having your match ultimately come at WrestleMania. You can still highlight Goldberg as your main person for the Hall of Fame, and he could be your booking for the new Hall of Fame facility that they're booking. And that way you can have him be the superhero. Okay, this is all I have, guys. I'm done.
I understand that booking, but let's be real. It's Goldberg here we have, and the way what you said would work with anybody but Goldberg, because one of the main things about Goldberg was his undefeated streak.
But that's no more.
So it doesn't matter if it's no more.
It's like you can't relive an undefeated streak storyline. I understand what you're talking about, but you can't relive it.
You can't relive the undefeated.
Cole wanted us to relive it.
But you can make it as a sense that he's not going to lose, and I don't think the crowd will turn on him.
I don't know. I think the precautionary fact of his age is the reason why he should have one match, and that be it. But I think Sellers is right as far as the face chasing the heel. That if you have him lose, you have him. You build him up so he can actually beat Brock on a bigger stage. Now, okay.
Yep.
2 issues with that though. Brock is a dangerous wrestler to me. I do not want to see Goldberg cut up at all. I'm just not for that.
Me neither.
Number 2, I don't want to see him injured. And number 3, I don't want to see another WCW guy get squashed for being brought back and this happening.
Yeah.
That's just the ultimate fear, is that all this for nothing. And at the end of the day, that's what we got with Sting. All this for nothing.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I don't think they're going to do that because I don't think Goldberg would have came back for a loss. I just don't think that.
You wouldn't have thought Sting either. Wouldn't have thought he would have came over finally for 2 losses.
Sting is more of a.
Oh, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Because
Sting is to me, Sting is bigger icon than Goldberg.
Man, it's so funny that they announced Goldberg as the icon. I don't know if any of y'all caught that.
I did.
I didn't appreciate that.
Sting is a way greater icon over Goldberg. Goldberg,
of course, but I think the reason. But I don't think they called him the icon as a disrespect thing. I mean, an icon is really just saying, "Oh, he's a kind of like a legend." And the thing is, you can have icons everywhere, but it's a difference between we call Sting the icon. In a way, Goldberg is an icon.
I mean, yes, he's an icon. He's a figure. We all know that. But come on.
But the thing is,
can you be an icon in 5 years though? 5 to 7 years, can you be an icon over 30?
Yeah, Goldberg is always going to be a wrestling icon. Goldberg is going to get non-wrestling fans to watch Raw, as he did, because Raw viewership went way up for this week. And that makes Vince McMahon happy, and that puts money in Vince McMahon's pocket, and that means that Vince needs to do this correctly. Call up Jerry Jones, Dwayne, and tell Jerry Jones to call Vince and book it, please. Make that.
I mean, I'm not trying to be a Goldberg basher. I do like the guy. It's not like I don't like the guy, but once again, if you're trying to compare him from the greats of all time, in my opinion, he's been a multiple champion. He was a champion in WWE and WCW. When I think of people like Sting, when I think of people like Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, I put those ranking higher than Goldberg. Goldberg was great in the time that he was in, but I don't think it would be unfair, just like you just said to James, what they did to Sting, that would not be surprised if you bring him back to WWE to lose.
Okay, Sellers. Name your top 3 WCW guys of all time.
Of all time? Top WCW guys.
Straight WCW guys. I mean, I want you to put everything in perspective to the consistent runs, popularity, the iconism, all of it.
Real talk, okay? And you might give me some slack for this. I have to put them in 2 separate categories because I have to have the WWF group that came over to WCW, and then you have to have purebred WCW people.
Purebred WCW people, because it'll be easy for you to say that Jericho's the obvious best WCW guy of all time.
He wouldn't even be my top 3, not for WCW.
No, but I mean, period. Just straight a WCW guy is a guy that is automatically. Okay, first of all, they would be a WCW Hall of Famer if that was a thing. And they would not automatically be a WWE Hall of Famer because they wasn't there.
Okay, just pure WCW people. Okay, it will be Sting, Goldberg, Booker T in that order.
Who? Oh,
Sting, Goldberg, Booker T in that order.
So how can you not say Goldberg is not iconic?
But no, he's iconic for WCW. But if you're thinking about what WWE is now, WWE is WCW if you're thinking about that. So that's why if you put WCW and WWE separate, okay, yes, Goldberg has WCW. And number 4 will be the person I cannot name on this podcast. That would be my number 4. Honestly. Because that dude ruled WCW.
I kind of like that answer too. And then the person I would put after that will probably be Dean Malenko.
Thank you. Dean Malenko would be my number 5. He would.
And Jericho would definitely be right around there. But wait, I'm not letting you off the hook though.
Okay. So those would be my top 3.
Being a WCW guy is not a bad thing, and it's not WWE. WCW was the company that lost to WWE, yet was still a successful company. The fact you would never hear that there was a TNA versus WWE battle of a night, or in this flat out ratings period. The only reason why TNA was ever so popular is because of how popular the WCW guys were and that they found a home.
Okay, let me ask you this. Based off that, what you just said, would you say Kurt Angle is a WWE guy or a TNA guy?
No question. There's no question. WWE.
Okay, all right. So okay, all right. I just want to make sure you were being consistent on that, because just with the comment and the explanation you just made which made perfect sense. You made Kurt Angle WWE guy, and I agree with that.
The only person that's a TNA guy is AJ Styles.
Right.
Yeah. So
okay, I respect that. I will concede on that. That yes, Goldberg is a top 3 WCW guy because he's purebred for that promotion. Now when you come to the WWE, but yeah, I got it.
Now the thing is that WWE, WWF, the stint is so long that Goldberg would not even be in maybe the top 20 of a WWE guy, period. Now, and then when it comes to all around well-known wrestlers, Goldberg will barely be in the top 20 if you ask me, because WWE had so many people above him. Like Bruno Sammartino clearly is the number 1 wrestler ever.
Okay.
And then
hold on, I have something to say about that. Okay, now let's be real. If we're going by all around wrestlers, yes. If we go by popularity of wrestling, as far as really being known by not just by the casual fan, by the people that don't even watch wrestling, you have to give him top 10 status.
Yes, Goldberg is definitely a trendy, easy name, an easy person for somebody to watch because none of his matches went past 4 minutes. So even the person with the worst case of OCD watch a Goldberg match and say,
and the thing is that at the end of this, all that matters, because if they see that they like that, guess what that happens? Marketing sales. That's what happens. At the end of the day, this is a business. It doesn't matter how many championships you won. But how much money you make for the company.
But you obviously are marketing that. You're basing that about the demographics of age and age in the era you were born. Yeah, I'm sure everybody in high school and middle school know who Goldberg were just because wrestling was popular and everybody was watching, blah blah blah. But globally, Goldberg, I don't know. He didn't have an stint much outside of.
Not like Cena.
No,
definitely.
Oh yeah, that's my next topic too. But he just wasn't globally known outside of WCW. Yeah, that's why the Bruno Sammartino is one of the easiest persons to say is the number 1. And then I can say with confidence that number 2 is Ric Flair. And then you can start going down to maybe some household names like maybe Hogan is in your top 5. Andre the Giant. Yeah. Dusty Rhodes.
Your top 1?
Who?
Who's your top?
Bruno Sammartino.
And then who's the second?
I'm going with Ric Flair.
As far as, are you talking about technicality, skill, or?
Period. The name, his career.
I'm sorry, I disagree.
Who's your number 2?
Number 2 is always going to be Hogan.
Always. What? Ric Flair was a way bigger star than Hogan.
He was, man. I would say so, especially in the the NWA and all that stuff and all the championships. Yeah.
First of all, Hogan is only as big as the person that made him big, Andre the Giant. Nobody made Ric Flair big. He was big.
I would agree with that.
I disagree. I wholeheartedly disagree.
Does Hogan even have an indie scene?
It doesn't matter. I'm saying, you're going by career wise? Are you going by?
I'm going by everything in knowledge of wrestling. Like if I say who was the best football player of all time, like period. I don't care position or anything. Who would you say? Like something like that. I would like unconsciously say somebody probably like Jim Brown.
Brown. Yeah, that's what I would say.
I mean, I like Jim Brown, but I don't think he's the best football player of all time.
And let me hear it.
Who would you say, just as a random?
If it ain't Johnny Unitas, I don't want to hear it.
Honestly, for real, if you want to think about it, if you really want to think about the true as a football player, the best player of all time, Barry Sanders to me. No.
No.
I'm talking about as a pure football player.
Talent was there, then got to see it.
You know what? He just didn't win no championships. But I'm talking about pure football player wise.
Pure talent, there's an argument there. Pure talent, Adrian Peterson, there's an argument there. But Jim Brown displayed it. The records say it. Jim freaking Brown put a team on his back, and nobody could probably name anybody else that's on that other team because that's how dominant Jim Brown was.
Of course, but you gotta think about the era. He was so advanced for that era.
But look, think about this.
Think about. All right, I view Jim Brown as like a Wilt Chamberlain. How he was so dominant in that area. I think of Jim Brown like that. It was nobody that can really, as from a physical standpoint, he was one of the biggest people, but he was also one of the fastest.
Okay.
Wilt Chamberlain was one of the biggest people. He could jump the highest. it was just that's how I view it. That's
okay. Think about this though, Dwayne. Think about this. Without Ric Flair, I don't think you do have a whole Hollywood Hogan, and even without a Stone Cold, you won't have The Rock. Because to me, those people introduce the Hollywood personas that you can extend based off a person that did the fighting groundwork for them to be popular. If that makes sense.
Dwayne, go ahead.
You talking about that? You talking about his heel persona?
No, not even a heel persona. But like Hogan is like the showmanship of what wrestling is. But Ric Flair is what wrestling is.
Yeah.
So Ric Flair opened up the ground to the showmanship capabilities. For example, in the WWF, Stone Cold is what WWF was. But that allowed to Rock to be the showmanship of WWF.
Okay.
So without that one, you can't have the other. So that's why you have to put Flair over Hogan.
I understand that point. But which one is more important? Being that person or being the showmanship?
You're still looking at a money perspective, but I'm looking at it as a career perspective.
Ric Flair was all money. All money. Everywhere he went, catered to money trolls coming behind him. That's why he was able to talk the way he talked.
But the thing is, you might say money trolls behind him, but Hulk Hogan was your money maker. We all
No. Okay, Hulk Hogan doesn't even have a memorable match if it wasn't for the other person being another iconic figure. All his best matches are with somebody else that was just as big as him.
How much money can you make? That's what we're talking about.
So the Rock versus Hogan would not have been as big as it was if it wasn't for it being the two they were and where it was at. So sorry, Dwayne. Ric Flair is
I gotta go Ric Flair.
Yes, but okay. But no.
If you're talking from a whole total wrestling perspective, I agree with you. If you're talking about from a popularity standpoint, I don't.
I'm a when we come back from my little braces, cut our plugs in and everything. The topic that I want to bring about is still talking to all things Goldberg right now. Is if Goldberg and Cena were ideally in the same era, around the same age, would there ever be a such thing as a John Cena, considering that his mode first came out with some other guy. I don't even remember what it originally was, but then he became Mr. Dr. Thugonomics, and we seen how corny that lasted. But when he became a Troops for the Kid, aka a superhero, is where his career definitely took a toll for the liking and everything he did outside the ring. But if Goldberg had that same backing that the WWE gave Cena, would there ever have been a such thing as a John Cena? So cut this promo real quick and we'll get back to you in a minute.
Rate, review, and subscribe to the Big Gold Belt Wrestling Podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and SoundCloud. Connect with us on all of our platforms, bgbgroup.tumblr.com, and BGB Group on Twitter, and facebook.com/BigGoldBelt.
And you guys heard the great voice of Mr. Aaron himself, who's on his education hiatus right now, but
he's in his dungeon.
Yeah, but you can catch him tweeting periodically, and when he gets a chance to sneak out of his dungeon, he gives us the weekend episode. But I miss you, Aaron, if you're listening to this. So we gotta work some magic again soon. But Team BGB is going to be in the house for Royal Rumble 2016. We can scratch
17.
that one off our bucket list, as Corey Graves would say. If you ain't been here, put it on your bucket list. Well, we're doing that, and we're in there. So live from the Alamo Dome, which I cannot wait to see how big this place is. You know, first time for me being in San Antonio, first time going to the Rumble. Yep. I can't wait. So I think all of us besides Aaron's going to be there. So definitely we'll keep advertising us being there. If you see us, we'll be well branded with our shirts and everything. Come up and talk to us, have a drink with us, make some plans. Let's do a couple of live shows, everything. We're going to look to have a good time. We met a lot of friends when we all got together for WrestleMania. Shout out to Attitude of Aggression, our brother and show. Under the Mat Radio, our brother and show, and blah, 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 blah. Feel like I'm forgetting somebody else. I don't know, but anywho, yeah, but we'll be there and can't wait to have fun. Hopefully, we can grab the best bite in the town like we did as soon as we got to Dallas. I forgot the name of the place we went, but food was so good, and it was so good to, as soon as you land, to have something really good to eat. So hopefully we can duplicate the same thing in San Antonio. So if anybody out there got any suggestions on great eats in San Antonio, give us a shout. We're all state guys, so definitely going to be our go-to for sure. But like I said before the break, Cena, John Cena, and
You already know I have something to say about this.
That's why I don't even want to say much.
First of all, now, this is a very good question. And honestly, when I think about it, it's a yes.
It's a yes what?
It's a yes and a no. And I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Because of the era changing, I feel like John Cena fits this era perfectly. Where Goldberg still had a little bit more edge to it, John Cena was strictly this fruity pebble loving person that he is. I mean, hey. And the thing is, they could exist. Now, who would be the man? It's just a matter of who's making the most money for the company at the moment. But it's tough to say.
No, it ain't tough to say, because
it's not.
I'm gonna stop you right there, because if it was like easy for them to build two of the same guys on the same and under the same brand to do the same job, then Roman Reigns would be a success. But obviously it's not, because there's only one John Cena, and there's never going to be a baby John Cena Roman Reigns. As much as Mr. D. Reigns himself wanted it to happen, it's not going to happen. It's one or the other. So Goldberg would have been first, with Cena being a predecessor of maybe the same booking. But I just honestly don't think that with Goldberg, with him being who he was, that there could have ever been a chance for somebody like John Cena to come up under that same molding.
Okay, so here's my thing. As much as I love Goldberg, I think that if he would have came up in this era, I think John Cena is probably a little bit better for this era. I'm sorry, that's what I feel. I honestly feel like this era, his promo skills his speaking skills are a little bit better for this era.
Who?
John Cena. I just feel that way. I don't feel like you can give a Goldberg the mic consistently for 10, 15 minutes. That's not him.
Okay. So Cena has to buy into the crowd for half of it after they boo him out the gym, which he does a great job of doing. But that's just right now. We can put this anywhere. We could have put John Cena and Goldberg in the WCW role. We could have put him in the Attitude Era. Like,
okay, I just said for this era, I will pick John Cena. Now, if any other era prior to this era, then I will pick Goldberg. But for this era specifically, John Cena.
Let me note that you just said that Goldberg would not work in the PG era.
I didn't say he wouldn't work in the PG era. I just feel like John Cena would be the man right now. Either way.
So you are acknowledging that Roman Reigns sucked then, correct?
No, he doesn't.
Either I'm going crazy or I'm just hearing voices out of nowhere giving man,
you're hearing voices out of nowhere because it's a ghost.
I have to take 10 seconds to tell you how annoyed I am with everybody Twitter handle being at blah blah blah, and that their little signature above their joint being hashtag Roman Empire. Like,
oh god,
there might be more people in Roman Empire than citizens in the United States. I'm annoyed with it. I just like sometimes
it's for business.
Man, there are guys in the Roman Empire. That's what I'm confused.
That's the problem with that. It is a problem.
It's nothing wrong with being in the Roman Empire.
Oh, of course you.
Wayne's the number one member of the Roman Empire.
Okay. How low? On 5 or under? Do you think there's gonna be 5 less or 5? I'm sorry, above 5 or under 5 guys that dress up as Roman Reigns for Halloween in this area?
In this area, that over 5. If we go to this bar crawl in DC that we need to actually talk about after this show or this beer fest, we're probably going to see at least several Roman Reigns who walk around with Samoan tattoos.
I take the under 5. I think you'll see guys dressed as Tom Brady and Roman Reigns.
Oh, okay.
No. Tom Brady. Clowns. It's going to be clowns and Roman Reigns. That's what you're going to see.
So let's get in there for the question. Goldberg, John Cena.
Without a doubt, John Cena. Because even though it is 2 different eras, Goldberg, I don't think, could do the same thing John Cena does for the wrestling ring, outside the wrestling ring.
5 moves?
That's probably the only thing they got the same. It's like 5 moves versus 3 moves of doom. The spear, the jackhammer, and his pin. That's his 3 moves of doom. But I think Cena
don't hate on the bad drop kick now.
First of all, y'all both need to get on the network right now and see that Goldberg has more than 3 and 5 moves. So you need to evaluate that. He has great ring charisma, which is one thing y'all not even giving credit to. He commanded the ring in the crowd to a T. John Cena gets in there and gets lost at times where he's just like, well, I know y'all hate the 5-knuckle shuffle, so let me just look around, punch my shoulders like, well, gotta do it, And even the deployment of his finisher is not even as good as what Goldberg's was. Now, you want to talk about Make-A-Wish? If you don't think Goldberg was doing hospital visits before there was a Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Hey, look.
I'm sorry. There was Make-A-Wish Foundation for years, but I'm saying before that wrestling companies did stuff with them, but he's been doing wishes for a long time. Don't get it twisted.
Hey, look, I'm saying for, I don't know what Southern say. I'm saying for this era right now is John Cena. Now, any era before that would be Goldberg. For this specific era, it would be John Cena.
Okay, so do you think John Cena could work when we were kids?
I think he'll be too corny.
I
Okay.
don't know.
Oh, I got a question. If Goldberg's character's been the same the entire time, correct?
Yeah.
Why? Because what? It was a good thing and it worked, right? John Cena has changed his character how many times?
3 times if you include his debut.
Exactly. Because of what? Them not knowing what to do with this guy that just looks like a generic wrestler that you didn't put any clothes or anything on, and
well, back in 2002 through 2005, excuse me, couldn't even get my words right. I mean, everybody was in that little hip hop era with the baggy clothes bigger than you, wearing 2-size t-shirts and wearing the jerseys. So it did fit the era perfectly, as Dean Wayne said.
Who was more over than on that, John Cena or J2G?
Oh, John Cena. John Cena.
Crime
Time was so racist, but we loved it.
Crime Time or Cena? Who was more over?
Crime Time was over because it was racist and it was funny. But the Cena was over. Cena was over during that time.
It was so.
You're going to have 2 dudes with cornrows robbing people, but we're wrestlers. That's so funny.
I don't know, dog. I don't know. I cannot believe I just asked that question.
Brooklyn, and this from Brooklyn. Come on now.
Oh man! All right, so our Twitter poll question of the week was obviously who had the better. First of all, who had the better spirit tackle out of 4, which Goldberg ended up winning that, and that was between Edge, Roman Reigns, and Bobby Lashley. And then I narrowed it down to by popular demand by the fans between who had the better spirit tackle between Rhino and Goldberg. At first, I was really going with Rhino when we officially had the conversation last week. But I'm sorry, man. From that footage I've been watching back in my prime of watching wrestling, Goldberg's spear was. I actually believe that actually could have actually put people down legitimately. Technique, strength, distance travel. I mean, if I ain't know any better, I can come up with a calculus formula to rate speed, maybe. With distance plus time, so I don't know. Do y'all agree?
That it was good because, like, literally, that's all they did with promoting was, oh, this dude's right from football. He knows how to do the spear correctly. So I will give you that one.
Oh yeah. Now hold up. Side note, I want to give a shout out. You know how Chris Jericho started this. I'm gonna start a list. And the first person that's on my list is Kevin Owens.
What?
He's on
Leave Kevin alone.
I'm gonna tell you why he's on my list. You're the Universal Champion, but Jericho is so much overshadowing you right now. It's just so bad. You're on the list, Kevin Owens. I'm sorry.
Watch Kevin still wins. Who has the belt? Kevin's gonna still win. Kevin's going to still win. You're such a hater on Kevin Owens right now.
Jericho.
You're hating on him so bad.
Kevin
Owens and The Miz.
I'm sorry. Jericho is overshadowing Kevin Owens, and it's very obvious.
It's making a great storyline.
I don't know. I wasn't prepared for Kevin Owens Jericho talk right now, but Jericho is definitely way more over than Kevin Owens right now. Jericho, I mean, look, he's a veteran. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, as we've been saying for the last couple of shows, and he's
just like The Miz.
He's breed for any moment. And look, he got the shine, he got the main event, everything. I really would like to see him in that triple threat match for Hell in a Cell, right?
I think what happened. I think that's going to be the end of the show. That's going to end on like a draw or count out or whatever you want to say in the triple threat match. And I think Jericho will end up being added into a title match.
Yeah, I did have it I did have it written down that we was going to go over Hell in a Cell, but we got a week out. We will preview it next week for sure.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of interesting things to talk about, especially what is being called. I'm sorry, I ain't gonna say what is being called as if it's not a real thing, but it is happening that Sasha Banks and Charlotte will be the main event in the Hell in a Cell at Hell in a Cell, as Mick Foley announced on his Twitter page, or was it Facebook, one or the other.
That's great.
So many different feelings about that, but I'm gonna save it for next week because I wanted to go over and plug in the Nova Pro Wrestling show that's coming up on Saturday, which I'm gonna be in attendance. Jamal at Giant Crab will be in attendance with me. I think I have another buddy that's gonna be with me. Maybe I can get Celis to get out the house so we can see it as well too.
I should.
Look, man, just like I'm gonna campaign to all the fans for $20.
It's worth it.
It's worth it. If you haven't been to an indie show, I don't work for them. Granted, they are really nice and professional guys. That we're not doing each other any favors. But for $20 to call yourself a wrestling fan, for you to not have to attend an indie show is like blasphemy. So if you're in the DMV area, that's the Maryland, DC, Virginia. I hope everybody knows what that means now.
It's the motor vehicles. It's the Department of Motor Vehicles.
Yes, that is not correct. And just for that, Baltimore is not part of the DMV. But go to Springfield, Virginia. Not that far. If you know the area like that, it's in Northern Virginia. Nova Pro Wrestling presents their Saturdays of Thunder, which is this Saturday, October 22nd, at the Annandale Sports Center in Springfield, Virginia. Doors open up at 7:15. Bell time at 8 o'clock. Like I said, $20 general admission, $25 for front row seats. Warning: your front row seat chair could be abused, but it's all worth it. Again, and I just don't know why people don't do it. I'll be there. We do a little Periscope session before it gets started. Just let know people we in there. We don't record the show or anything like that. We be friendly. They sell DVDs and stuff, which you also can get off this site so you can see these shows. But I just don't understand why not do it if you're able to do it. And the reason I campaign for it is because I don't think it's about money. I don't think it's about availability, and I don't think it's about anything but the bias towards people thinking, oh, well, there's not a Seth Rollins on the show, so I'm not going to go. Well, do y'all remember that Seth Rollins was a PJ Black before he became Seth Rollins? And these people that you're seeing in your neighborhood indie scenes eventually become these main star WWE talent. And I think it's blasphemy for people not to do it. Shout out to James Ellsworth.
That's super kick, man. The no chin. What was it? The no chin music.
Who's getting the James Ellsworth shirt?
I am, but
I'm not.
But now that I just think about it too, I went to the Evolve show in Brooklyn, which was one heck of a show. I forgot that I had pictures on my camera I need to upload. But somebody from there, Tommy N, who if you never heard of, again, if you had been in any shows, you wouldn't know who he was. But he just got signed to a WWE contract today, which you'll be seeing more of him now, along with two other people. But again, if you had your chance to see who some of these people were before they had a chance, you grow up with them, you appreciate it. I mean, it's all part of the sport, if you ask me. And going to see indies, you get quality storyline, storytelling, athleticism. You get all of it, everything you want. And on the contrary, too, you also get people who are on main rosters and other promotional brands coming through in local indie shows, which now that everybody's very accustomed to Cedric Alexander, but before Cedric Alexander was in the CWC, NXT, and on the Raw main roster, he was in ROH, and then he did indie shows for Evolve, and then he did something for Nova Pro Wrestling, and all over the place. And now he's there, and you appreciate it much more.
Yep.
So check them out. Check out their Twitter page at VA Wrestling. All the links and everything there. And like I said, purchase your tickets. We'll see you on there Saturday. But it sounded like Dwayne wanted to say something out of the blue about Roman Reigns. So let's hear it so you can close the show out about your boo. Come on.
What y'all saying?
He doesn't even know.
I was just thinking about something because you were talking about indies and stuff. You know what came? You know who it came a lot of people on from the indies? The whole cruiserweight division, and they're on my list because I just have no interest in it. You're on the list. You're on the list of Dwayne.
How now everybody knows you like to go against the grain because that's what you do. For you, everybody, you have no interest of anybody from the CWC.
First of all, let's talk about the champion real quick. Lord,
The video game champion.
Lord, that's the worst gimmick ever.
Oh, bye, dog.
16-bit entrance.
I feel like every time I see him, I think of Super Mario. It doesn't work for me. It just doesn't work. I'm sorry.
Man, shout out to TJP.
TJ, I like him though.
Giving everybody love. Showed us love. Communicate sports fan, hardworking wrestler. The cruiserweight champion, the first cruiserweight champion. Good storyline with Brian Kendrick, which I'm interested to see for Hell in a Cell. What happens there? But
Brian Kendrick.
See, the problem with Dwayne that you guys don't know is that he's a Cowboys fan, and they don't know
That's what's right.
quarterback. They don't understand it.
I have no issues with TJP. His character is horrible. Now, first of all, and then second of all, I'm great because I'm a Cowboys fan. I mean, we have the reverse record, which y'all have.
Doesn't even matter. Y'all have a good record. Everything's going in pieces, and yet y'all still drama felt because y'all don't even know who y'all starting quarterback's going to be. That makes no sense.
Look, tell Cam Newton to give a press conference longer than 2 seconds. Then come talk to me.
Look, my man is young, emotional, and he wants to win. And
and it's the same record as the 49ers.
He's sensitive.
Look, can I tell y'all something since we got a little bit extra, a little second? They be hating on Cam Newton so much, and if my camera will work, which let me just try to see if I can plug my Cam Newtons in right now. Oh no. They be hating so much on Cam Newton, right? Why in the world are they reviewing the concussion protocol from week 1 when he got hit? Now, I've been saying all this time they hate on him so much that Akeem Talib took his head off week 1 against Denver. They never give not one person on Denver a fine or a roughing the passer during the game, reevaluated after the game, but now they're reevaluating the concussion protocol we used against him. How did he even get that hit? That's all I want to know. If y'all not even going to find the hit.
All right, so I think the thing is, and I keep hearing this from a lot of even like referees and even a lot of commentators, it's kind of hard to officiate. They said one of the hardest quarterbacks to officiate.
BS. Time to get off air before we get on the wrong subject. BS.
I'm just saying what they said. He's one of the hardest quarterbacks to officiate.
BS. So anyway, when we get back to you next week, I guess we'll be talking TNA because obviously it's being rumored that they're going to file bankruptcy. So wondering much how long until they actually are still a thing. So I'm sure we're going to have much to talk about with that. We'll preview Hell in a Cell. Obviously Brock responds back to Goldberg on Monday. And what's next for James Ellsworth? Because obviously he's the hottest thing on SmackDown right now. Well, maybe under what's his name? It's just slipped my mind. Not The Miz. Anyway, doesn't matter. But anyway, there'll be some James Ellsworth talk next week for sure as well to see what goes on with that. Does Goldberg end up on a John Cena monster foul? They're the same gimmick, but like you said, they both won't work at the same time. Obviously, that's what's going to happen. That's the gimmick Goldberg's going to have to use for his time being. But since Cena's already doing it, will it be able to work? Who knows? So we will see if Mr. D. Reigns have anything to say about that. But Again, check us out each and every Wednesday between 8 and 9 o'clock as we try to get an hour worth of discussion in. Everybody that viewed us today, we appreciate it. I'm going to work on the craft a little bit better so we can actually be able to see live chat, which I didn't enable this time, but I'm going to get it enabled next time. And just, keep the interaction, the love, support, and everything that everybody's giving us. And we greatly, greatly appreciate it. So we'll catch y'all next week.
I gotta go.